Okay, so here we are with another episode of Wednesdays with We, and we have a special guest today, Maryellen Stack from Sager, who is also on our communications committee. So thank you, Maryellen, for coming and joining
Thank
us.
you for having me.
Yay! So I'm excited because these Wednesdays with We are fun because we get to just talk and just have a little chat and just uncensored, and love for people to chat in and comment and give their suggestions too, and feedback on our conversation. But this conversation was fueled by your input the other day when you and I were talking about resiliency and how critical it is, and how you were saying, Maryellen, that women tend to be very resilient, and had talked to me about several kind of things that were going on, and how you were inspired by some of the resilience that you saw. So I don't know, I'm just curious about that, what your thoughts are.
Well, I think as I've mentioned to you before, I think I'm very blessed by the organization that I work for. We're an old organization with many of our team members who have been there for years and years and years. We have a unique culture, and it's definitely a culture of resiliency. We've been through a lot in 133, 134 years of history. But one of the things that I think have been especially helpful for me as a female in that organization has been the opportunity to be supported by such a strong executive team, by such a strong marketing team. And it's worked well for my own talents and abilities that I think I brought into the organization, where I've been able to develop and hone that resiliency, where I'm given a project and you run with it till the end, right? You can't back down, you can't stop. Sometimes you hit roadblocks.
Yeah.
There's lots of different people involved, and if you're not true to the course, you'll falter, you'll fail. And anything, I hate to fail. So I think all of those things for me have added to my resiliency, but I think that those are things that I see in a lot of women, a lot of the women that I work with at Sager. And women in general, I think we have to be resilient because we are juggling a ton. I mean, what woman do you know, whether you have children or not, most women I know are juggling families, relationships, friendships, work, you name it, elderly parents, whatever it is, women take to the task, and we don't give up. So
it's such a good point, because I guess, in a lot of regards, we do a lot of trainings about women being perfectionists or fearing failure, but in a way it can be used to your advantage, because if you don't want to fail, if you're that strong about not wanting to fail, you can be very resilient, and you could be very creative in your comebacks.
It's so true. It is so true. And my failure, my need to not fail, isn't traditionally driven externally, it's driven internally. It's and I see that in many of the women that I interact with, that I work with at Sager, and in this organization. I think that's part of why we've become as successful as it has. It's your resiliency, it's your board members, the women who are committed to giving their time and giving back to this community. And without that, you wouldn't be where you are today. We wouldn't be where we are today. So
oh, well, thank you for that. I think, like you're saying, it is the team of people and the resilience. And what I notice about women that I love, and that it fuels me, and why I love working with the team of women we're working with, is, women love being a part of something bigger than themselves. So if you get a group of women, and I'm not saying other people as well, I mean, I'm not trying to exclude, but I am saying there's something so powerful about getting a group of women fighting for the same cause, that's bigger than themselves, that it's something that they feel like they're making a difference. And that's one of the things I just love about being a part of this community, and just amongst other women who are passionate people, right? Who have good hearts and use their talents to move the world forward in a way that's better than where they left it to begin with.
Yes,
So I love that. And I think that helps us be resilient, don't you?
I think so. I think the support, knowing that people have your back, knowing that you have somewhere to turn to if you need advice. I think women also, I think we're very in tune with our own weaknesses. I think we probably almost spend too much time on understanding our own weaknesses, but I think in understanding your weaknesses, you're able to rise above it and say, okay, well, I might not be strong here, but somebody else I know is, and I can rely on that individual or that person to help either give guidance or step in if I need assistance or whatever it might be. And that's a phenomenal thing to get out of a community like this, to get out of your work organization, to have people to rely on. So it's a team of resiliency, really.
I think so. And Diane made such a good, Diane Sweeney of TE, because she's, obviously heading up our communications. And, she made a good point, and we'll have her on in the next couple weeks, I think you said, because her point is capitalize on your strengths. And I think what you're talking about is the team of resiliency is everybody's got their own strengths, and where you're
Yes.
down, somebody could help you pick up the pieces. But to me, it's also compassion, like sometimes I talk to you guys and you might not even realize, but I might talk to you or Diane or somebody. And I just feel like there's this overall sense of compassion and a caring spirit towards others. And sometimes you guys are really great about pointing it out to me where maybe I'm overlooking something somebody did on accident or, whatever. But I think that, I love that about our community and women in electronics, because I feel like nobody's supposed to be left out. Everybody is a part of what we're doing if they want to, because we want everyone to be resilient. That's part of what we're doing, right? And especially
Yes,
right now.
I agree. And I'm glad I joined. Personally as well as professionally, because as a manager and having a group of women that work for me, understanding their styles, understanding where they're comfortable, understanding who they are as people, you can help develop them as they are coming up and help them find their voice and feel resilient themselves. So
Don't you feel that women carry a lot on their shoulders? Don't you feel like with your team that you're managing a team who they have their work life and they're carrying that, but it's beyond that, right? They're carrying, their family, they're carrying their kids, they're carrying on such a different level. It's like almost like a soul level. And I
yes,
would imagine for you, Maryellen, just kind of the brief, like times we've had, but just working relationship that I'm getting to really just cherish. You're just a caring, good person. I feel like you
thank
really
you.
care about people. And I think that that's the beauty of a lot of managers, male or female, who are caring and compassionate and considerate. So I feel like you probably would carry that a little bit, right? If your team.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think we work really hard at Sager to build our culture, to make certain that the people that we bring in, one, will feel comfortable, but also are going to help grow that culture. And so you wouldn't want to bring someone in and then not do things to support them, to help them be successful, to help them understand their own strengths. I know when I was young, and you tend to focus more on your weaknesses and how am I supposed to be better at that. And what I've learned over the course of time is it's not those things, it is strengths. And I was lucky to have people to do that for me, help me discover, focus, hone in on what I'm good at. So why wouldn't I do that for others? So.
Right. And, I think part of the resiliency too, if we, talk about our different companies, it was funny. I was just on a conference call right before we talked with, for a pre-panel discussion for what was going to be at EDS. Now it's just a virtual, meeting. But I was talking to Don Akery and Monica Heifel and then Kimberly Appleton from On Semi. And it's really interesting talking to them because they were saying how now change has to be almost something you look forward to, like you just deal with, and that makes you resilient, right? That
It does.
Yes, is just getting used to, and Don Akery had a good point when I was talking to him earlier. He had said that his maturity has come from um, being more comfortable with change and just
Yeah.
getting used to change coming. And I think for me personally, and I don't know if it's across the board with many women, but I don't as love change. I can deal with it more in the business capacity, but in my personal life, like I like things to be very consistent. So I'm learning, like, just as a person, that change is good, change is growth,
You
you know.
need it. It if we are stagnant, then what is life really? So I understand though when you want things consistent at home because it makes it easier in your other environments. Plus, if it's consistent at home, it means your children are safe, or your relationship
Yes,
is fine, or
yes,
your friends are intact, and you don't have to worry about those things.
yes.
It's harder when you have issues across the board. You have deadlines to make, yet you have a child that might need to, it's just studying for a big test and is having a breakdown. And where do
Yes.
you balance that, and how do you choose what's more important? And obviously it's the child, but at some point you got to get through on the deadline. So it's a juggling act for sure.
Yes, and I think, this has been such good conversation. I wish we could talk longer, but it would be
Yeah.
so interesting to have people chat in about what their strategies are for resiliency or what their challenges are. I feel like we're in a day and age we can't just talk about all the good. We got to get real and talk about what the
Mm-hmm.
challenges are too, so we can break through these barriers. It's funny because we were just saying how at the ERA last February, we were just having this whole panel discussion about best practices moving forward. It was working remote and all these things, and everybody was hemming and hawing and thinking it was like, maybe we should do that. And now we're fast forward into all these, boom, we're working remote, we're having to use technology more, we're having to go through all these things. So it's just, it's interesting to talk about these things and what the challenges might be and how other people might be able to offer, some more solutions too. So anyway, any final thoughts before we depart?
No, I just think in terms of being a woman and being in this industry, and there's so much opportunity. I was fortunate. I was very blessed with the people I've been surrounded by, and continue to be surrounded by and grow and expand. And I'm not giving up. So
Yes, and I will tell you, this is what a lot of companies need to know, is that when they create these cultural environments, it shows. Because
Mhm.
every time I've talked to you about what you do, you're very positive about Sager. You love the
Thank you.
people you work with, and I imagine your team loves working with you.
Oh.
So I think that I don't know how that translates into the bottom line and how you could show those numbers, but I can guarantee that has everything to do with success. So anyway, hats off to
Thank
Sager. I
you.
think they've done a great job. And
Well, hats off to you. This has been an amazing experience, honestly. And
oh,
working with the communications team has been a lot of fun.
good, very good to hear. And anyway, so everybody have a good rest of your day. And Maryellen, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks,
It ended up being
Jackie.
the two of us, and it was so nice. So just to be able to
It
chat
was
with
like
you.
we had coffee.
Yes, we did. I was actually drinking my tea as I was talking to you. All right. Well, have a good
All
day.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care.
You too.